Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Doesn't Even Matter podcast with your host T. This is my friend Ryan. Say hello to the people.
How y'all doing?
We got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of exciting products coming out, a lot of good tech. We want to talk about the Xbox One to start. There's a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, so we want to go over them to let you guys know and keep you informed on what we think and what's coming out. First, I wanted to start off with its compatibility with the other devices. I like the fact that the Xbox One is going to be able to tie into all your tablets, iPhones, Android devices, iOS operating systems. Even if you have Windows 8.1 on your computer, it'll also tie into that. It also has really good use through voice commands. It's going to be easy to use. You won't have to worry about a remote. I know a lot of people, especially the elderly people, are going to be intimidated by remotes that start to look like this and have about 70 buttons on them. They don't even know where to begin. Most of them won't even use most of the features because it's just too intimidating for them. The flexibility of being able to use a single TV now. I don't know if you guys know, you can use more than one screen on your TV with the Xbox One. You'll be able to use TV or a video game. So if you have a wife and you only have one house, or sorry, you only have one house, if you only have one TV in your house, then you'll only be able to use one TV. Well, not anymore. With the Xbox One, you'll be able to watch TV, go on to the internet, or play a video game. So if you guys both have headsets, you can plug them in and watch different types of things at once, which is really nice. I like that. Not having to fight over the fact that you want to play your video game while your wife wants to watch the show is definitely going to be something that's very appealing. Now,
And that's all through, what, Smart Glass?
no, the Smart Glass is actually a separate entity. It's going to be something that you can tie into your video games. So, like if you're playing, like a game where you have a map, you could use your tablet as the map as opposed to using your tablet, just for searching on things. So it kind of makes the game more immersive by allowing you to use other features. For instance, Grand Theft Auto had something with Chop the Dog, where you could give your dog commands, you could custom your license plates and stuff like that in it, and that's just going to be enhanced further with the second version of Smart Glass in Xbox One.
Yeah, it's really good that they're tying a lot of stuff together because they promised a lot with the 360 and they didn't actually go through with it. But I think we'll actually get the stuff on Kinects where we can actually take things from everyday life and scan them in if we want them as our actual items in game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was probably limitations with the hardware that might have kept it back from being able to, keep under promise what they said was going to come out. Now, I know there's been controversy about this. There's a lot of people saying that the Xbox One is going to be underpowered and all. And I think a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of power that's going to be coming through cloud computing. While most of this is unknown at this point, there is going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be dumped to the servers, and that's going to allow you to free up some of the power that's in it. Also, the Kinects is reserving 10% of the DGPU, which Microsoft said at one point that they were going to allow the developers to tap in. So your games will eventually be able to get better and better looking, implement more and more features into it, have more things on the screen happening at once. So eventually the Xbox will be able to stretch its legs, so to speak. You factor in that with the learning curve. These guys are working with a new system, so it's all new things they have to learn. Even though it is a computer, it's a custom computer, and they have it working a little bit different than your standard operating system. I think as time goes on, we're going to see them get more and more impressive. You're going to see things like GTA type quality, GTA 5, type quality on the 360 towards the end of its life cycle as we progress through the Xbox One. I think a lot of people just seem to have amnesia and forget about what's going on. Since the last console, it's the same thing. Every console, they keep coming out with the games. They look better and better as it goes on. It's always to be expected. They're going to be running into problems initially, and I think a lot of that comes into play because they're trying to rush these things. I don't like it. I understand these guys are in business and they're trying to make money, but they're always going to have a rough start that when they try to compete with the other people in the industry and try to rush their system out as fast as possible. They're trying to get them out in time for the holiday season, which is understandable, but I still would rather wait until they have it 100% ready for that. But hopefully they will, and we'll see not many problems with the Xbox One. Crossing my fingers.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they get a little bit more power out of it, because they will be able to run the higher resolutions, which a lot of people have been complaining about it just because they've been spoiled with either PC games or they just want a little more progression. But they do have 1080p and 900p on some games with 60 FPS, and it goes to show that it will run those type of games. They just probably have to come up with a better system for coding
I think
it.
a lot of the software is probably what's holding them back right now. It's probably not finalized. They're going to be working with patches over the years to fix it and get all the potential they can out of it. And like we said before, the Kinects and the cloud computing and all is just going to make it enhanced even further. And as developers start to get more familiarized with the way these things work, we're going to really see things shine in the next few years. So I'm not worried about it. I'm sure they're going to pull it off. They wouldn't be boasting about 4K graphics and all these other things if they weren't able to do it.
4K is not going to happen unless they have cloud computing, I can tell you that.
There's
just no way. You need at least a 780 Ti or like a 7... I think it's like a 7... Yeah, what is it? AMD 770 or higher for...
Probably.
4K?
I think when they mentioned 4K, they were talking about pre-rendered scenes or 4K Blu-rays, most likely, what they'll be able to be pushed. I don't see 4K gaming.
Yeah, video will definitely be there.
I don't see 4K gaming happen, but who knows? It's not out of the realms, I guess, if they do have cloud computing. But I think if you're going to have that, you're going to need a very strong pipeline. You might need like 50 megabytes or more internet speed. Now.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that, because some people can't get it.
Unfortunately. But hopefully in time, everyone will have access to a really fast pipeline like that. Now, one of the other things that really annoyed me was that they didn't have accessory support from the beginning. A lot of these headsets you won't be able to use. Actually, none of them you'll be able to use completely. You'll be able to use them and plug them in and hear sound through it, but you won't be able to talk through it. And they said in 2014 sometime they'll have the extra device that'll connect into your controller to allow you to do that, but unfortunately it's not going to be supported from the beginning, which is a huge letdown to the community, since I actually recently figured out how well and amazing it was to have the headsets on. I mean, you're basically missing out if you don't have a headset at this point. You can hear people sneaking up behind you, things that you normally wouldn't hear unless you had a really good surround sound in your room. And there's other features they said that aren't being implemented right now. There's a lot to list, but they said that within the next year they'll have everything out, and hopefully we'll see that happening sooner than later. The one other thing that really annoyed me was they had only a 500 gigabyte hard drive. Being as these games are going to be up to 50 gigabytes for a download, and that they wanted this to be the new era for digital downloads, only giving you a 500 gigabyte hard drive is leaving you with very limited space, so it's requiring you to have to go out and purchase another external hard drive, spending even more money. I wish they would have gave you like a terabyte. I think that would have held you over for a while, because there are some people that buy like 2 games every month, and what's that, 5 months before you have your computer completely full? It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, that is if all the games are that size. So I think we'll see like Watch Dogs is going to be like 50 gigs. Probably Assassin's Creed will be around 20 or 30. And then like Destiny and Halo, the new one that's coming out, will be really high gigabyte range for the consoles at least, and
I think
PC.
50 is going to be towards the high end. Not every game is going to be like that, but still, if you do wind up picking a game that is 50 gigabytes, and that's what most of your games are, you're really going to be limited to like 10 or 12 games or whatever, and that's not enough, especially when that's what they want you to do, is to download them all. But at least they're offering you the option to add an external hard drive. Otherwise, it would have been a complete failure. Now, some of the games we've been looking forward to, I'm really excited about Assassin's Creed 4 and Battlefield 4. I had pre-ordered these a while back. They have never, ever let me down with the quality of them. Assassin's Creed 4, if you guys don't know, is something like a Tenchu stealth assassin games. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but you're sneaking around and you get to assassinate people and do all types of other things that are around espionage basically. I'm going to be getting that title and Battlefield 4 sometime soon, so look forward to seeing my reviews and some gameplays as I play them. Battlefield 4, if you guys aren't familiar with the series, is like taking the first-person shooter genre and throwing it into a whole nother area. It's like a step up. This is close to a simulation, but not quite. They have vehicles and all. It's more realistic type of shooter than stuff you would play like Call of Duty. It might not be as realistic. It's just more for fun. This is kind of a balance between Call of Duty and something called Arma, which is out for the computer. Arma is a realistic simulation. It's almost as hard to shoot in that game as it is in real life. They have wind that's going to change the direction of the bullet and all, so you really have to calculate and compensate for those things. This is kind of like the middle ground for that. Battlefield is not quite that, but it's not quite Call of Duty. It's somewhere right in the middle, and I think it's the perfect blend of realism with fun. We'll look forward to that. Also, I'll have a review sometime coming up in the next few weeks. Now, I didn't get to purchase this as I've been spending so much money recently, but Rise is another thing that I've been looking forward to a lot. It's one of the better looking games that are coming out for the new console. Somebody gave it a really critical review recently. They were talking about how it's as fun as mashing buttons on your cell phone or calling someone on your cell phone. Which, I mean, what game isn't that? You're always hitting a few buttons to play. I mean, when I'm playing a first-person shooter, I'm mostly pulling the trigger button and moving my joysticks around a little bit. Other than that, I'm not hitting many other buttons. So I don't know what the guy's complaining about. I'll have to see myself when I do get my hands on it, and eventually when I do, look forward to my review of that. So what games are you looking forward to?
I'm most likely going to get Forza and Battlefield 4, and Assassin's Creed will probably be the other one, just to play online with some deathmatch and that.
Forza is another one of the more beautiful looking games.
Yeah, I just like to drive around in that game and just get online and do some drag racing and circuit racing and customize cars and sell them and stuff. It's enjoyable. It's a game that it's not going to last me like 2 or 3 years. I'll probably play it for 3 months straight, and then occasionally on the weekends or every 2 or 3 days, but I won't be on it all the time. But I'd be on Battlefield a lot more. I played the demo on PC, and I really like the game.
Battlefield is a game you play for years. I played that probably 2 years, I think it was, after it came out. I had wound up picking the game up. I came late to the game. But let me tell you, those servers, every server you joined on was packed. There was just hundreds and hundreds of people playing it. Thousands, probably almost into the millions of people playing that game. There was just, I couldn't even tell you how many servers there was. There just a lot. And they're all packed with like 30, 40 people in them. And now they're going to have even more people. I think, what is it going to be up to?
64, yeah, just like 64. PC was before?
Yeah, that's going to be a lot.
So teams, 32 and 32? Yeah. It gets pretty laggy, though, even on PC with that many people.
Maybe it'll be optimized for this. I made a mistake there earlier. It's only up to, I think it was 24 people on the original Battlefield, but still, there was a lot of people on all the servers. There's a lot.
A lot of stuff going on, especially with buildings falling down and stuff like that, and like mid-match and all
damage. That. Some of the buildings can collapse. In fact, in Battlefield 4, they were showing videos of this entire high-rise was falling down. A whole big building was falling down, which was pretty amazing to see them animate that. Now, one of the other tools that I seen, or I should say the accessories that were going to come out for the Xbox One, was the Illuma Room. I'm really disappointed because I heard that they scrapped this project. Now, I don't know if it's indefinitely, but I hope this is something that's coming out. If you guys didn't see it, it's probably one of the most impressive things that was coming out. In my opinion, better than the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift makes it that you kind of have to, look around, and it requires you to do more things, and I like to sit down and just relax and enjoy the game. I don't want to have to jump around like I'm Richard Simmons doing a workout. I want to sit back, relax, and just enjoy my experience. And the Illuma Room was this device where it would link up with your Kinects, and it would project an image onto your wall and furniture around it. and it would calculate everything accordingly so that when you had like snow falling onto the ground, it would land onto your floor and just move around with the wind and all. I mean, it was really amazing. There's a lot of competitive edge it can give you too. So anybody who's into professional gaming and wants to do competitive gaming, this is definitely a device for you. When you play normal games, you kind of have what I call tunnel vision. It's almost like you're looking like this through binoculars, you know? You can't really see everything around you. You can't see to your extreme left or right. You can't see up and down. You're just left with this kind of tunnel vision. Now with this, you were able to see people beyond the screen. So I seen people, like for instance, above my screen up here, and a guy that normally would have sniped me that I wouldn't have seen, now I can see him, and then all I do is look up, and now I can shoot at him. So it's definitely going to give you a competitive edge. Not to mention the cool effects that it did. I mean, my jaw practically dropped when the guy came up to him and started shooting a flamethrower, and it came off the screen, and it was on the wall. I mean, it was mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. And, there's a lot of things that are going to be potential for movie-wise. Imagine you're watching The Matrix now, and the bullets start whizzing past you before they actually come on the screen. You'll see the little ripple effects and all. Or if something explodes, the explosion will go past your screen onto the wall, and now all the little things that made up that thing that got destroyed are now scattering all over the place. You might even have like something land on your coffee table in front of you, and it just sits there for a second. You're like, oh my god! Like, talk about total immersion. This thing is something that Microsoft should continue to develop, and hopefully when the time comes, they'll be able to make it affordable for the people. That's one of the reasons they scrapped it at the moment, was because it was too expensive. So please, Microsoft, if you're listening, don't scrap this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there that would buy it. Just save it till the time when you can get it at a reasonable price. Hopefully at least halfway through the Xbox One's life cycle would be nice.
If they could have it as like a $500 attachment,
I'd
be fine with paying that.
Yep,
just for
absolutely.
the extra
It's
experience.
worth $500. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to check the video out. We'll have a link for that. It is definitely something to see. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen recently. Now, also, if you guys haven't heard, there's a thing called the Nvidia Shield. You want to tell the guys more about that?
Well, it's pretty much a handheld Android gaming device with a really high quality build on it, and it has a 720p screen. I think it's a little bit bigger than a Nexus 4, and it's a touchscreen along with the Xbox style controller built into it. It's a little hefty, but you can stream PC games to it from Steam if you have a Kepler GPU.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And on top of that, you can play Android games. It does have pure Android on it, which is awesome. You can surf the web, watch movies. Instead of holding your tablet, like in your hand like this, it gets a little tiring. You can just hold it right there, kind of rest it on yourself when you're lying down watching movies or TV or games. If you guys aren't familiar
with the Nexus 4, this is one I have right here in my hand. It's a little bit bigger than the iPhone. It's in between the iPhone and the Note 3. So it's a reasonable size screen. In fact, I was watching HBO movies on this, and it's amazing. So I think you guys would like to check out the Nvidia Shield if you like to game on the go. It's definitely something cool. Now, the other thing is a Steam box that's coming out. This is the other competitor that's coming out into the market in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, they already shipped the beta Steam boxes, and the people who got them got like GTX Titans, or like 650 cards, pretty much all Kepler systems, and I think they also shipped some AMD cards that were high end to low end, just for people to get a feel for like how the operating system works with their setup and what they can do with it. That's also offering streaming. They're also coming out with family sharing. So if you have friends that have a bunch of games and they don't play them, you can ask them to, can I play some of your games? And you can log in as a guest and play their games.
Feature Xbox One has. If you go over someone's house, the Xbox One actually can recognize you and then would bring up all your stuff through the cloud services. They're actually going to offer unlimited cloud space too, storage.
Well, they got 300,000 servers to do that.
Them servers that they have were bigger than the entire internet was in its entirety in the 90s, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that is really impressive right there. But, the internet in the 90s.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
laughable at
The
this
internet
point
in the
compared to
90s
what it is
wasn't as
now.
impressive, but hey, it's what we had back in the day. It's what we had to deal with. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing, if you guys haven't seen this, is the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift is basically what we've been waiting for a very long time. It's the virtual reality. It's a device that attaches onto your head and will allow you to look around in 360 view like this, and you will see everything around you as if you were there in real life. It's almost like tapping into the Matrix. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really nice. The only problem I've been hearing with it, though, is some people get motion sickness from it, but
Yeah,
they're
that
working
might
on
be,
fixing it.
There might be like a slight delay in moving it, which causes some type of like ghosting or whatever, which might cause you to get the motion sickness from it. So if you probably have epileptic seizures, I wouldn't check that out. It probably would make you go into a seizure.
Yeah, or a lot of those people wouldn't be playing many video games as it is.
That's
but,
true.
Yeah.
Elon
And
Musk.
what else? We got
Elon Musk. Has
Elon
been
Musk.
using
Yeah,
that.
he's been doing cool stuff. Yeah, he was playing around with Oculus Rift, Leap Motion, and then they're using it to create 3D objects for rocket parts, and they're printing stuff in titanium. And I think there was one other material they were printing it in. I don't remember that off the top of my head, though.
You're talking about the resin that they're using?
Yeah, it was some other material that they printed in for the rocket
I
parts.
didn't actually get to see that. I do know that they were making all types of stuff that was going under heavy stress tests. They actually made a working gun that made the barrel, believe it or not, the 3D printed barrel was holding up to being able to be shot, and that's pretty impressive.
Well, Elon Musk
No,
wasn't doing that,
I'm
but
just
other
saying
people
in
are.
general that the 3D printing, the quality of these items that it's making, are able to withstand pressures from a gun being fired. So that's a testament to how well it is designed. Now, what?
Yeah, it's definitely engineering right there.
It's
the
the next
marvel
thing.
of it.
It really is going to be the next best thing after like the internet. I mean, you tie in this with 3D printing, the Oculus Rift with 3D printing, and then eventually fuse it with nanotechnology, and you have a device of the future. It's going to be able to produce basically anything. And this video that I seen that Ryan was showing me here with Elon Musk was almost straight out of the movie Iron Man, where Robert Downey Jr. was sitting there and he was toying around with things and moving things in front of him, and he was going in and out, looking at different parts and all. It was unbelievable. It's movies coming to life in front of you. Science fiction becomes science reality.
Yeah, and that's thankfully the Leap Motion right there, which I think you can pick one up for cheap. It's like $100. You can plug it in, install some drivers, software, and play around with stuff on your computer. There's a couple games for it too that look
we
cool.
might have some 10-year-old making the next Iron Man suit with this stuff in the future. You just never know.
Yeah, he's got to get his mommy and daddy to buy him a 3D printer that prints in like titanium and steel.
If I'm not mistaken, that type of material was only available from one company, and I think you have to get some type of background check or something to actually get that because of the potential to make weapons with it. So they want to keep that under wraps so that people aren't abusing it. But it is neat, though, that you can make all types of stuff, especially things that can handle the type of pressure and that goes through the type of brutal beating that a barrel of a gun would. So it does show you that this technology is pretty solid. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the cool new movies that are coming out, but one of them, made by Martin Scorsese, is called The Wolf on Wall Street. This is with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. Looks like a great movie. I can't wait to see it. It looks like it's going to be really fun. It's actually based on a true story of a guy who was working with the mafia, and he was doing what was it? The stock exchange.
It was like the pump and dump,
Okay.
like stock exchange type of thing. It's similar to what they did in the Boiler Room and like The Sopranos, like where they would scam people, but they were going after the super rich and like telling them they're like getting all this money for these stocks and it's going to go up. But he just made it seem like they were going to profit, but all the money ends up in his pocket and his employees and stuff like that. And then lavish lifestyles. And also John Berthal, if I'm saying his name correctly, from The Walking Dead, who played Shane, is in this movie too.
Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey. Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's got a pretty big cast.
It looked like it was going to be really funny to watch. Now, you said you went to go see Thor over the weekends, right? You saw, was it Captain America Winter Soldier?
No,
okay.
I saw Thor 2, and I'm wondering what they're going to do with Captain America is why it's a topic up there, because like they kind of left you hanging with Thor, and like what's going on next. I wonder what they're going to actually do in Captain America to tease what's going on, because they left you with, make sure you don't get up at the end of Thor and like walk out, because they do show 2 after credit things that are interesting.
Now, if you guys haven't heard in the news recently, there was a man in Russia, and I'm not joking either. This guy actually nailed his testicles to Moscow's Red Square. He was doing this to protest the growing police state in his country. I mean, it seems like it's happening all over the world. Everyone's country's getting into this police state. It's getting kind of crazy. So to protest this man actually nailed his testicles to the Red Square. He's also the same guy that sewed his mouth shut, literally took some type of string and sewed his mouth shut for when the band Pussy Riot was arrested. He also was the guy that stripped naked and wrapped himself in barbed wire outside of one of the governmental buildings to protest everything that's been going on. Now, he was recently interviewed by what's called the Vice Guides. These guys, if you haven't seen them, check them out on YouTube. It's one of the coolest journalists that I've seen out there. They're actually doing like real deal journalism. They're one of the true last journalists. I have mad respect for these guys. They're going out and getting some crazy stories. They're going into places, risking their lives, and check them out, please. If you have a YouTube, or if you have a HBO on your cable, check it out, because they also have a series on there. There's about, I think, 10 episodes. It's still in its first season, so give it a try. I'm telling you, you guys will be shocked into what kind of stories these guys are getting. Excuse me. Now, also in other news, Mayor Rob Ford, Toronto's mayor, I don't know if you guys heard about this before, but he was caught back in May of 2013 smoking crack, and he's also the same guy that was seen walking down a hallway while he was getting interviewed and walked right into a camera, like right into his face. He got smacked with this camera. Well, he's back in the news again, and this time he was supposedly making sexual advances towards one of someone in his cabinet or whatever, some type of staff member who he said was actually a prostitute, not a cabinet member. And he was supposedly recorded saying that he would like to eat her pussy. Well, when he was questioned about this, the statement he made recently was, "I never said that. I would never do that. I'm happily married, and I got enough to eat at home." I mean, it was probably one of the funniest things I heard recently. I mean, you don't ever really hear a politician say this, and to hear it come out of one of these guys' mouth was hysterical, I mean, to say the least.
Yeah, the politicians are just getting a little crazy nowadays, especially, this guy's from Canada, but some of our politicians, the stuff that goes on with them is just ridiculous too.
Oh, believe me, if there was some recording devices in their house, I'm sure you would hear what they were doing behind closed doors. They're constantly getting caught with hookers and doing illicit drugs, and it's never ending.
Yeah, they made fun of this guy pretty bad on SNL. It was hilarious. Then they show like an actual picture of him compared to the guy that was doing the skit, and it looked exactly like him. And you're just like, oh wow.
I didn't get to see that.
It's a good one. I'll get you a link to it if they have it on, probably on SNL's website, but nowhere else on the internet.
Alright, well, we're going to end the podcast. It's getting kind of long. Our computers are going to die if we try to run this through it. We really need to get new equipment. That's actually why we didn't get the podcast up sooner. We were having some difficulties. But I want you guys to please subscribe to the podcast. and like us if you seen the videos. And we're going to give reviews, like I said earlier, about the video games that I bought. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. All right, take it easy. Bye.